Welcome to the first episode in a three-part Legendarium series about the history of Halloween. In Part 1, Season of Death, we will talk about the Celtic festival of Samhain and how it was influenced by Roman and Christian practices. Halloween is a holiday celebrated each year on October 31st, and Halloween 2021 will occur on Sunday, unsurprisingly on October 31st. Whether a solemn celebration honoring the spirits of the dead or a saccharine, sugar-soaked costume party, Halloween is a time when we look beyond the everyday and wonder about the weird. Halloween's origins date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. The Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago, mostly in the area that is now Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1st. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of year often associated with human death. Hundreds of years ago, people found winter an uncertain and frightening time. Food supplies often ran low, and for the many people afraid of the dark, the short days of winter filled with constant worry. It is important to remember that in a time before light could be had with the flick of a switch, darkness was much more dangerous and frightening to people. People easily believed that demons roamed the night, and Celts in particular believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated Samhain, when the ghosts of the dead came to Earth. People thought they would encounter ghosts if they left home, so to avoid being recognized, people wore masks when they left home after dark so that the ghosts would mistake them for fellow spirits instead of mere mortals that they could toy with. On Halloween, to keep ghosts away from their houses, where they might cause mischief, people would place bowls of food outside their doors to keep them from going inside. In addition to causing mischief and damaging crops, Celts thought the presence of spirits made it easier for the Druids, their priestly class, to predict the future. For a people wholly dependent on agriculture and the volatile natural world, these prophecies became an important source of comfort when getting through the long and dark winter. Tales of Samhain told of ancient mounds opening on that magical night to reveal great palaces of the underworld. And to commemorate Samhain, the Druids built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes that included animal heads and skins and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. When the celebration ended, they relit their hearth fires, which they had extinguished earlier that evening, from the sacred bonfire in the belief that its magic would protect them during the coming winter. By 43 AD, the Roman Empire had conquered most of the Celtic homeland, or at the very least, the Celtic lands came under Roman influence. During the 400 years that they ruled the Celts, two festivals of Roman origin combined with the traditional Celtic holiday of Samhain. First, the Romans celebrated Feralia, a day in late October when they commemorated their ancestors. This day marked the end of Parentalia, a 9-day festival dedicated to honoring the ancestors. Roman citizens brought offerings to the tombs of their ancestors, including arrangements of wreaths, a sprinkling of grain and salt, bread soaked in wine, and scattered violets on the tombs of their ancestors. The second holiday served as a day to honor Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. Romans believed her to be a goddess or nymph who took great pleasure in tending her orchard, using the hem of her dress to carry freshly picked apples, which also happened to be her symbol. The Romans even planted a sacred orchard dedicated to her near Ostia. Like Halloween, her festival took place towards summer's end when the Romans collected the fruits of their orchards. The Celtic incorporation of these two Roman practices into Samhain possibly introduced the tradition of bobbing for apples that is still practiced to this day during Halloween. Of course, the Roman Empire did not last forever, yet the religion its emperors embraced during the 4th century would far outlive the Roman state. After Emperor Constantine converted to Christianity, the new Eastern religion spread fast through the Roman Empire, including the old Celtic regions of France and Britain. On May 13, 609 AD, Pope Boniface IV dedicated the Pantheon in Rome, once a site for the veneration of the old Roman gods, in honor of all Christian martyrs instead. Early Christianity centered on a cult of revered martyrs who chose death rather than renounce their faith in times of persecution, as most of their brother and sister Christians did. This led to the establishment of the Catholic feast of All Martyrs' Day in the Western Church. Indeed, early Christianity was built on tales of these martyrs, not only of the gory deaths that they endured, but the calmness with which they endured them, and tokens of divine favor, such as sweet smells coming from their corpses. Pope Gregory III later expanded the festival to include all saints as well as all martyrs. He also moved the observance from May 13th to November 1st in order to Christianize the pagan autumn festivals that were still common throughout Europe. By the 9th century, Christian influence spread into Celtic lands, where it would blend with Celtic practices. What will this new mix create? We'll find out in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this installment of the Legendarium. If you did, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe. And if you've got anything to say, let me know in the comments section. Thanks again for joining me, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day.